Hey everybody, Dean here with BodyFit. I've got another tip or trick video here for you. I've got a little special guest here with me. I'm cutting this video at home, so my little 5-year-old here is going to help me out. So that being said, the tip or trick I have for you today is a little bit nutrition based. And I'm going to talk about kind of compounding effect. And this came about actually yesterday when I was doing our first roundtable at BodyFit. One of the people I was talking to, she was asking about nutrition, and she was talking in relation to dinner, and her question or her comment was around dinner time if it was okay to have a glass of wine. Now, my philosophy is my philosophy. I don't expect everybody to follow it, but it's just the way that I do things, and it's the way that I've adopted, mainly because it's what I've found works best for me personally, as well as my clients. So that in my opinion is the name of the game. Obviously, I've got to stay with the education that I know and what I know works in the body, but if I can kind of put a little spin on it so that it allows my members and my personal one-on-one clients to achieve their goal, but more importantly, still have some normalcy in their life, then that's what I'm going to do. So the way that I do things isn't always necessarily, being so strict that you are never having a glass of wine or you're never having your favorite piece of cheesecake or something like that. Because in my opinion, most people they do really well for a short time frame on situations like that, and then they lose their mind, and they, instead of eating a slice of cheesecake, they eat the whole stinking thing. So her question was having wine in regards to with dinner. Now, I'm going to take a step further, and I'm going to kind of touch on something. Most people have the assumption that proper nutrition is just simply picking healthy foods. Okay, so I'm going to use the case in point of a sweet potato. Most people know that a sweet potato is a healthy choice, and it's a much healthier choice than, for example, a pasta or a French fry or something like that. A sweet potato would fall under a carbohydrate. So of the choices of the carbs, a sweet potato is a good way to go, and I would agree with that. However, when you get into actual nutrient timing, and more importantly, compounding effects, then the sweet potato can be a problem. So I'm going to give you kind of a case in point with this young lady. She asked if she could have a glass of wine, and I said, well, yes, you can have a glass of wine. However, you need to be prepared to do whatever is required the following day to make sure that that wine doesn't have a negative impact on you. But more importantly, what are you going to have for dinner? And the example that I gave was, traditionally we're taught we need to have a meat, a veggie, and a starch-based carb of some sort. That's old school. That does not fit the parameters of what I preach around BodyFit. Unless you're working midnights, there's no reason you should have a starch at night, mainly because your body doesn't have a use for it. Again, unless you're doing some high activity at night, then there's not a whole lot of use for it. So that should be eliminated. However, most people don't think that way. So if she's having a sweet potato, which is a carb, which in turn just turns into sugar, and then she compounds that with a glass of wine, which just turns into sugar, then we're kind of heading down the direction that we don't want to go. So the tip or trick for the day is just be mindful of not only the food you're eating. Yes, it's a great philosophy to follow, to just pick healthy foods, but in my opinion, you've definitely got to take it a step further, and you got to start looking at nutrient timing, the time of day you're eating, what foods, and more importantly, what you're compounding, what you're plugging in together. Because I'm perfectly fine with a glass of wine. However, if you're doubling that up with a piece of cheesecake or a sweet potato or something like that, then you're running a risk for some negative results. So as always, reach out to me, dean@bodyfitmi.com, if you've got questions. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we'll hope to see you soon at BodyFit.